Hi everyone, welcome to this reading. I have my crystal ball off to the side, so I will be scrying throughout this message. If you're new to my channel, my readings are a little different. If you're returning, welcome back. You know how we do if it doesn't resonate with you. If you're forcing the story to fit or going with it in any way, just leave it behind for the people who it's meant for. So channel members, you guys have a video that posted today, so definitely check that out. If you're interested in channel memberships, that link will be in the description box below. Let's get started. Taking a step aside. And allowing spirit to pass through me. Opening up to receive information. Okay. So I'm seeing a candlestick. Seeing a light on this candlestick. It's like a flame, and it's in the darkness, and the darkness is important around this candlestick. This is kind of coming through as symbolically, it's representing sort of the vibration or the resonance or really the charisma and personality of the person who I'm reading for. So whatever collective it is that I'm reading for, you're very likable, you know, you're probably very magnetic, highly empathic. There's just something about you that people notice, okay? And the thing about this is that from the darkness, I'm seeing like all these like flying insects. They come towards the fire, and they're trying so hard to get warmed up by the fire, and then they wind up burning themselves. So I think I'm speaking to a collective of people. You may have a habit of, and like I'm noticing that the bugs that were actually appearing to me were mosquitoes. So that's kind of unusual. So there may be this sort of sense that you have a habit of attracting people who always want to use you or take from you or put you in a role that maybe suits them, right? It's you know, even good people can do this when they're not necessarily conscious of their actions and their behaviors. And you know, we can have some decent relationships where these things happen, and it's not until 5 years, 6 years goes by when you realize, wow, I'm always helping them. They've never really helped me when I've needed help. They've always had some reason why they couldn't, and even if they're valid reasons, like, you know, the fact that they never exchanged that energy with you. So whoever this message is for, you just seem to be surrounded by a lot of people who engage in this type of behavior. Do you think that some of it is malicious? Some of it is probably quite intentional, but then there's all those other people around you who do this unintentionally. And make no mistake, this isn't making an excuse for that behavior or anything like that. It's just to point out that for some people it does seem to be quite unintentional. And it's almost like there's some people that I'm feeling inside the energy in this darkness where it's like it's just a way of life for them. They've never learned to stand on their own, so they're always waiting for other people to help them and take care of them and things, which is, you know, a disempowerment. And there's this energy, though, that behind that, it's like we've done something here to kind of like change our light so that those energies get burned away faster, right? You may even notice that you may have been, or you may still be, the kind of person that people always require things of you, and you're always fulfilling those things, and then eventually those people have beef with you, and it winds up that they're hurt about something, or they're angry about something, or, you know, it's almost like this, they touched the fire and they got burned. And that might be quite literally. You might be somebody who, you know, you might be one of those people that does the door slam. So, but I'm seeing something about like working through that energy, trying to refine the fire, trying to figure out how to change the vibration, how not to put off so much light. And in this sense, I don't mean a spiritual light. I mean the energy of giving, the energy of helping, the energy of taking care of, right? That mother energy. When to mother, when to not mother, when to withhold that energy from others, when it's appropriate, when it's not appropriate. Because what I'm seeing now is I'm seeing something a little bit more sinister stalking off in the darkness, and this feels a little bit like it goes beyond the energy of individuals, and it's not necessarily even a collective. There's like a field that is in our periphery, that I'm going to say this because the mosquito imagery just keeps coming back, and it goes back to a discussion I had with somebody about how mosquitoes are really kind of symbolic and synonymous with like the vampire field. And, you know, it's almost like that's what someone may be dealing with. So, for example, you may have a fascination with like vampires, or you may have at some point inside your life the things that we're fascinated with inside of our life. And this is one thing that I always say is really important to understand, especially when you work with spirits. The things that you are fascinated by, you are essentially calling them in. And so, people who are fascinated by like movies where there's like all this like toxic stuff, they tend to attract a lot of toxicity inside their life as a byproduct of that. Because what does it do? What we're fascinated by, like going back to the reading that we did yesterday, when you think about your resonance, right? What's your resonance? Your resonance is your beliefs, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, and your desires. And obsession is both a desire, a feeling, and a fantasy. So the things that we think about right there, we're aligning to something. So at some point within our life, whoever this message is for, we aligned ourselves to the field of the vampire, and not in like the the dark, seductive, sexy way, though that may be what you were focusing on. What it's essentially attracted are situations and people that are draining you. Okay, and I want to emphasize situations because I don't feel that it's just people. You may even find that, for example, it could extend into like animals. Like maybe you have a pet that you dearly love, but there just seems to be all these things that happen with this pet. And maybe the way that it came to you, it was originally not even supposed to be yours, but now you have to take care of it. And it wasn't something that you autonomously chose to, adopt. I'm not saying get rid of the pet, right? Absolutely not. But it's just the situation. So like it can happen in little ways like this, where there's situations that suddenly they require. Did you hear her growl? By the way, I swear to God, she knows what I'm talking about. There's situations where it's like they require time, energy, attention that maybe of our own volition we weren't willing to give. And this is the field that's kind of stalking off in the darkness. So let's see why this is coming up now while someone is kind of tending to that mothering light that they put out. Okay, let's see. And for the males in the audience, absolutely, if you feel that you have been, providing like a fathering light to people, right? Giving people advice, taking people under your wing, showing people how to do things, this can absolutely apply to you. Okay. Again, we have this chamber of manifestation energy coming through. So this is definitely speaking about the things that were resonating. But notice how she almost looks like that fire inside of a candle, right? She's got this like light, this luminosity, and then we have this field around her. And outside this field, these clouds almost look like eyes, like they're staring down. And this is what I'm talking about, because this is exactly how it appeared to me. This is where we essentially have something to integrate, okay? So what is our relationship to the energy that takes, right? Is there still anger? Is there still bitterness? Is there still a feeling of betrayal? Obviously, that's going to be there if we're still working through our emotions. But this reading is essentially saying that in order to really refine the light that we're shining, the energy that we're putting out, our resonance, it's important at this time to take stock of those feelings, because those negative vibrations that you have towards this field essentially keep it close. I'm going to liken it to this because I've said this other times on the channel. For those of you who are ever stuck in an abusive situation, you go through your life and you have years and years and years of really hating this abuser. There are, and this isn't for everybody, there are many times when a person comes to the end of their rope in terms of how much hate they can embody, that they realize that the reason why they hated so much is because it's all they had left of the person that they loved, right? So we still have that version of the person that we originally loved inside of our minds for some of us. And so this is kind of what this is saying, is that your anger, your bitterness, your hatred of the person that was this way because they took from you, the person that was this way that took from you, the person that was this way that took from you, these are cords. That's what that is. It is a cord. And it's keeping that layer near you. So spending some time inside a quiet reflection and learning how to forgive. Forgiving doesn't mean anything about, oh, it's okay that you did that. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is sometimes, yeah, I don't care about this anymore, right? And of course you have to reach a certain level of healing, but oftentimes we have already reached that level of healing years before we're willing to actually let go of the situation. Sometimes it's easier to feed off of the energy of that anger and that bitterness and that hatred, and I'm running off of spite. I had a friend that had a shirt that said that, and it was so true. She was such that person. But I'm running off of spite, And it can be a fuel. And so understanding that that's where we start to embody that vampire energy as well. We may not necessarily be vampiring off that person. It's almost like we're vampiring off of our inner child, because the inner child wants to love, and at the end of the day, the inner child shouldn't love everything. Not in the way that, like, I think most people think of love, in terms of like, I have open arms, I'm running towards you, right? We have to kind of tend that inner child and be like, no, don't talk to strangers. But this is a little bit of a feeling that we have to let go of that tether. We have to let go of that energy and that vibration in order to truly be done with this story, okay? Here what we have is kind of a clarification on this. This is Mercy. Now if you look, she almost looks like the candlestick here, and then this is the flame. And you can see all these like fractal images out here. And so when we become in control of that light, right, where our energy is going, the fathering or mothering light that we're emitting, and also the other vibrations that are at the core of that, right? Like how do we feel about our past experiences? How do we feel about possible future experiences? When we're in quiet reflection of that and we have mercy at that core, that light changes. Because there's something about when we are, super protective, and we're like, I'm going to have these great boundaries, I'm going to be super protective. Ever notice that either one of two things happens? Either that shoots you in the foot and suddenly you find yourself completely alone and very lonely, or, and it might not happen right away. That's after we've stayed in that place for a little while. And the other thing is that you just seem to attract people that just keep wanting to come at you. Like, they just keep wanting to come at you, and it's exhausting. And that's because what's really required, rather than that warrior, I'm protecting myself energy, is an energy of mercy, right? Being calm, being centered, being peaceful, allowing ourselves to have gone through the process of learning how to protect ourselves while not wearing that like armor. When you wear armor, people are ready for a battle. So this energy here is essentially trying to tell someone, you've done an amazing job at refining your light, but you just have this field still tethered to you because of something that must be forgiven. The forgiveness is not for them. The forgiveness is not to say that they're okay. The forgiveness is for you. It's to take your power back, okay? You don't have to. You absolutely don't have to. Just understand that if you don't, this energy field is still going to be around you. Okay, so if you've been struggling with, how do I get this type of character out of my life? And people are always going to be people. I always say that on this channel. The chances of you 100% eliminating those types of people is probably slim to none. But you can really mitigate and kind of filter what comes at you, and alleviate the frequency with which this type of character comes at you. Because really, when people see, you have a quiet calm about having your boundaries, they're not really going to want to test that, right? I mean, they'd have to be really stupid. They'd have to be really dumb. And, to like ignore those signs. Because most of the time it's like, oh, I want to take from somebody, I'm scouting the place, who am I going to take for? Oh, there's this person over here, and they've got armor on, and they think they can keep me out, but really I know what buttons to push, because if you have armor on, you're still wounded, right? We send signals out to people all the time, and these vampiric types, the type that, they're used to using people, intentionally, unintentionally, they know how to read those signs. So this is really about refining the signs that we're putting out and really changing the vibration of what it is that's occupying our space. Okay. Chamber of Soul Gifts. As we do this, and it's almost like this energy up here, it's blocking something. And it's not necessarily that it's blocking anything from coming in, because what you have is already inside of you. It's like it's occupying territory within the psyche, right? Even if it's external to you, there's territory within the psyche that's occupying. And because it originates there, it's what you've called in through your own beliefs or desires or wants at some point within your life. And when we clear this out of our external field, and the external is also the internal. This is how manifestation works. The external is merely an echo chamber of what's taking place internally. When we clear out this field, what we allow ourselves to step into a different area where now we're displaying our soul gifts. And this is really the whole process of refining that light, of refining the inner fire, is so that our willpower now becomes in alignment with our soul gifts. So I think that someone, you know, you're on this like precipice where it's like you've done all the work, you've done all of it. You like literally when I said that, it's like, good job for refining this. Like seriously, good job. Because now it's almost like this field is the final boss battle, and oftentimes the final boss battle is our ability to release the past, our ability to understand that situations were horrendous, people were horrible to us, but we don't have to take them through our anger, our shame, our guilt, our, you know, hate, our bitterness, our sadness, our grief. We don't have to take them into the future with us. You know, they have no place by your side, whether symbolically or energetically. They have no place by your side. And I kind of want to show you something here as well. Now, if you look at this, it almost looks like a mirror, but you don't see her reflection, right? All that she actually sees is almost like her true form. It's all these layers of reality. It's her not as an individual, but her existing as a multidimensional being, which is what all of us are. But it's being able to perceive something higher than herself, right? This is not common. This is like the running theory, is that that's not really common for conscious beings to be able to perceive a conscience above themselves. But this is what's happening here, is that it's like by clearing up this field, now we can see something else there. And whatever else is there is in direct alignment with our soul. So if we look at this here too, she has like this crystal ball. I feel that for some of you, it's like this being able to foresee the future is going to be one of the spiritual gifts. You know, psychic abilities, even telepathic abilities for a lot of you. Just because it's coming through to me is like the candle imagery with the fire, which is through a whole process translating over here to the fire on top of her head. So this is how I came to telepathic abilities. And there's also something here about pillars. Okay, yeah, I have to go into it. So for some of you, especially if this pertains to attracting a lot of partners who have been very takey, I do want to point that in this card, what's standing out to me is this bell, almost like a wedding bell, and it's almost like this is a bride who's waiting for someone to come through the other side. And then we have these 4 pillars, almost reminding me of the 4 of Wands. So it's almost like one of the things that somebody has been trying to manifest is, and it doesn't necessarily for all of you have to be romantic partnerships, but it's like equal give and take between all sorts of people, right? And for those of you who have been trying to manifest a relationship, I think that you're actually very close. It's just that we do have to confront this field and understand that even if it's not in our life right now, even if it's not something that we're engaging in, it's still around. And how you're going to know that it's still around is if you have situations that are constantly draining you, or even pay attention to your dream life, right? Are there certain things that you can look at and say, oh wow, symbolically that was really draining me, or symbolically that's really representative of that field. Maybe, you know, you maybe you got bit by a bunch of mosquitoes recently, or you're having like tick issues. Like this is like kind of a sign, right? It's like ticks are attracted by pheromones. So like there's just something here where it's like, it's almost like this greater psychic cosmos is being reflected in our life in some way, even if it's not through the people. It's being reflected through the symbolism that the universe is constantly speaking to us in our 3D experience. Here with the Chamber of Soul Gifts also, I do think that some of you, you know, you're very close to having a relationship that's very healthy, because that card's coming out to me that way. I also want to pinpoint over here, there's dragonfly energy showing up for me, and also butterfly. So those two are like coming out very strongly. There's also something here about snake energy, and eagle energy is coming out for me there also. So if you have, what's the other one? What is that? What is that? What is that? Oh, it's like a bumblebee. It's a bumblebee. That was very interesting, and that kept shifting on me, so I don't know if like a shifting bumblebee is important for somebody, but yeah, it's definitely a bumblebee. So these may be like animals or like insects that people like really resonate with at this time. They may be symbolic of certain things that you've been seeing right now. Okay. Three cards. Ooh, that brought us back. So yesterday's, I think it was yesterday's reading, we had the tall poppy. Is that what it was? Yes. Okay, tall poppy. And apparently that little black thing that I pointed out was not on all the cards. I was told that there was somebody who commented that that wasn't present inside their deck. So that was their special for us. And it's kind of bringing me back into that energy of yesterday's reading a little bit about protecting yourself from something that is trying to infiltrate. So for some of you, this is what it is. It's this sort of malignant field of taking, okay? And we have here the Nine of Wands. It's the first card that came out, and this is about boundaries. There's something here that's a chink in our boundary, and it's important to find that, okay? This may, again, I'm leaning into, many of you may still feel angry or bitter or hate for someone or some situation from the past. This is going to be that one peg that's out of the boundary that allows this energy to connect in, which is how that energy is going to keep coming in and feeding, or just keep coming and like testing our boundaries, okay? And here we have this Ten of Pentacles on this Mercy card, and this is about our social arena. For some of you, this is going to be about your family. This is the energy that you're kind of being asked to extend, is mercy. Again, it's not the same as everything's okay and it was all okay. For me, this card, when I read the Mercy card on this, it's like, it's for yourself. It's having mercy for yourself, okay? Here with the Ace of Pentacles, we have, if you notice, her hand is out holding that ball, and this hand is out holding this pentacle. This is definitely about a manifestation. I feel that it's a manifestation that's coming through, because now we're in alignment with ourself on all dimensions. I really want to go into that Mercy card and why I'm saying the mercy is for yourself, but I'm not going to, because I just heard that who that's meant for will hear it. So, all right, 2 cards. These are greater lessons on the energy of love. And we have the Queen of Cups, we have the King of Cups again. As I said before, I really feel like those of you who are trying to manifest a really healthy relationship, you have that on the horizon. We just have to put that peg back in the fence, okay? So that we make sure that this is not what we're attracting, that this is not what we're manifesting. This feels, again, like I said, the final boss battle for somebody. It's like, that's the Bowser card. And I think that, you know, by allowing ourselves to have that boundary, allowing ourselves to have mercy for ourselves, I don't know if that means that someone might need to like forgive something inside themselves. Of course, that's not going to apply to everybody. So don't take that as yours if it's not. But for some of you, this is also having the mercy on yourself, not to have the pressure to have to feel a certain way about things, because it can be exhausting to carry that around. And really allow, you know, some people carry that around as a form of self-sabotage. So, you know, really looking at those things and understanding if you are capable and if you are in the place where you're able to fully release these people. And not everybody's there, right? Sometimes we have to go through a lot of healing before we can do that, because the wounds are so deep. They have been inflicted on us, and that's okay. Again, have mercy on yourself. Here with the King of Cups, I'm noticing that the King of Cups is holding a cup as we're touching these 2 cards here. So it's almost like an equal exchange. And I do think that there's something very beautiful about these 2 energies showing up as last energy, because most of all, it's about the alignment of our feminine or masculine nature. Remember, I started off by saying mothering and fathering. This is where we've really learned to mother and father ourselves. And we understand how to be that energy in appropriate times, how not to be that energy when it's not, you know, appropriate. And this seems to be something that is allowing someone to experience love, because now you're not leaking love to people that are just trying to take your help, your time, your attention, your resources. You have that well of love within you now, and it's ready to kind of be given to the right place. So I'm going to leave this here. This got kind of long, and if this resonated for you, please hit that like button. I wish you the best of luck with this. Feel free to leave me a comment, and until next time.